bitches move on cause they know I got bands. They be saying I don't.
Before I get into this video, I want to make a disclaimer and say I'm not bad mouthing. I'm not talking bad about nobody. I'm on good terms with everybody, period. Cause y'all don't be trying to come over here and fight me, have no drama with me. So, when I was 19, which is 2 years ago, me and my mom was bumping heads a lot. Like, we weren't getting along. We weren't talking to each other for real life. I wanted to talk to her. She would go in her room, slam the door. She wouldn't talk to me, and it kind of got frustrating. But the thing about it is, me and my sister always bump heads with my mom. So I felt like if anything was said to me, should have got said to her sister, but it's all good. So I had just started dating my child's father, who I'm still in a situation with right now. And oh my god, what's this? I bet they came from no hamburgers. He came over. Mind you, he was staying in a different city. So he came over to come spend time with me. So we were chilling or whatever. And my mama, she came in there. Mind you, I wasn't mean to her the whole day. I asked her, could I help her pay her bill? Because we got to get info from her, obviously. So, like, can I help you pay this bill? I have the money for it, so you won't have to keep worried about how you going to pay it or whatever. And, yeah, I can help you out with that. Like, I was being nice to her. Not even that day I was being nice to her. I was being nice to her for a couple of days now. Probably like a week. Like, we weren't arguing. Like, a whole week. So she was like, she came to the room. No, she didn't say anything. So I was like, okay. Like, I was just trying to be nice. So me and my boyfriend went to the room. We weren't doing anything. We just was in the room chilling or whatever. Oh my gosh. So next thing you know, she walked to the room and she was like, hey, you found your place yet? And y'all, I'm 19, like, I'm young. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I have time to save and get a place. Like, I don't have to just jump up and rush, you know? Mind you, my sister stayed there as well, and we're only a year apart. And my older sister, who's 4 years older than me, she just moved out. So it's not like, why are you rushing me, but you don't rush my older sister and you don't rush my younger sister? And my older sister, she still didn't have to move out. She chose to move out with her boyfriend, but she didn't have to. So I was just like,
no, I'm still looking. I don't have enough money saved up right now.
So she was like,
well, I don't know what you're gonna do because you gotta get out of here.
And I was just like, I feel like I was so in shock that I couldn't say anything to her. Like, I just bust out crying. Because first of all, that's embarrassing. Second of all, you're my mother and you're kicking me out. Like, come on now. Oh, y'all, that's an air fryer. But that was so embarrassing. And in my head, I was just like, I cannot believe she just basically kicked me out. So I was crying and crying and crying. I didn't know what I was going to do. So that's when me and my boyfriend left. And we went to where he was staying at. And then, yeah, I was letting it be known that my mama just basically kicked me out. So his auntie decided that we should go to In-Town Suites. And if y'all don't know what In-Town Suites is, I'm going to put a picture to the side. But it's like a studio apartment situation, but it's a motel, hotel thing. So you have to pay weekly. So my boyfriend, he had a job at the time. So he told me, because before I even was thinking about even going there, he came over one day and he told me, he was like,
if you move in with me in Town Suite, you don't have to pay anything. You could just be there.
So we ended up moving there. He was paying the rent But the thing about it is, though, I don't like when people have to take care of me. So I started coming up with ways to make money to help him out or whatever. And his family, like I said in the disclaimer, I'm not a bad person for nobody. But his family were being so rude to me because they feel like I wasn't trying. Like, I'm not a female who just finna lay there and get taken care of. Like, no. I'm finna do what I gotta do. I was doing DoorDash. I was doing Uber Eats. I was freaking working at McDonald's. And I don't even work at fast food. Come on now. That was a new era for me. And I did it. Come on now. I did it. Come on now. And I even worked at Kohl's, but for one day because things happened. So I was like, they were coming at me like I wasn't trying, but I really was trying. They just didn't see that I was trying. Things ended up happening at that In-Town Suites. it started getting a little bit too expensive, and money wasn't right, so we had to leave there. Then we went all the way to another city, lived in another motel. People were very rude and thought that they could treat us any type of way, so we ended up sleeping outside one day. Then went to another motel, and the other motel we went to, I think, I'm gonna put pictures of all the motels. I'm just not gonna tell you out like all the names, but I'm gonna put all the pictures of the motels. One motel we went to, the lady was very, very rude. She treated us like little kids. Like, we're both grown. We're not little kids. And I guess since you're under 21, you're considered a little kid still. So we were treated like little kids. We couldn't rent our own room or nothing. So we ended up going to another motel. And then the other motel, the other motel we went to was like, the other motel around like January, February of 2022. So we went to that motel, and I was like, okay, we gotta get some good jobs. Like, we can't keep hopping from the motel. So we ended up getting a job. Excuse me. And we worked at that job for like all the way to July. And that's when certain people came to our motel room because they didn't have nowhere to go. So now we have a lot of people in the motel room, and we're having other bills, and nobody's helping us out. And then it started becoming like the people in our motel room was bickering with people outside of the motel room. So now we got put out. Nowhere to go. Job was lost. But the job didn't pay that good anyways. It was just paying enough for the bills. So we ended up having nowhere to go. So I was pregnant at the time, mind you. I found out I was pregnant a couple of days before my birthday. Like 2 weeks before my birthday. And mind you, we were working and stuff, so it's not like I was just being irresponsible and not doing what I had to do. Like, we was working all the time, so I don't even know how I got pregnant. So, when it hit July, we had nowhere to go. So we just like, what are we gonna do? Like, we got nowhere to go. We just had all our stuff in the car. And if you watch one of our vlogs, or it's probably not in the vlog, but I think it may be. But I'm going to put a clip in anyway, so you can see all of our stuff inside of the car because we had nowhere to go. So I asked my mom, and I said, Mama, can we stay here for a week? We're going to get paid, and then we're going to get another room. And she was like, okay. Well, not a week, couple days. So we stayed for a couple days or whatever, and then a couple days ended. And then his money still didn't hit. And you know, my paycheck was little, so I couldn't do nothing with it anyways. So I was just like, he was going to go to his grandmother's house, and I was going to go to my mom's house. Well, ask her if I go to her house. So I said, Mom, can I stay? And I was pregnant. Like, you could see I had a little tummy. I was pregnant. So I said, Mom, can I stay here just the weekend? He's not going to be here. It's just going to be me. And she was like, no, because I'm going out this weekend. You cannot stay here. And I said, well, Mama, it's just going to be me. You want your pregnant daughter sleeping in the car? She was like, you can't stay here. I'm going out. And I don't want nobody in our room. Y'all, when I say I was devastated, like, I was crying and crying and crying. I just feel like she didn't like me. Like, I just feel like she just hated me. Because talking about my sister any kind of way or nothing, but my sister stayed with my mama basically her whole pregnancy. And my sister had a child before me. Her child's going on 2 now. My child's just going on 1. So, I just like, and they're not really a year apart. My baby was supposed to be born in January 2023. But, it was just like, oh my God, like, I don't have nowhere to go. You're not giving me nowhere to go. You're supposed to be my mother. Even though we bumped heads before, like, you're supposed to be my mother and you're not giving me nowhere to go. Like, I just feel like it was messed up. So, when she said that, I hopped in the car, me and my boyfriend. And y'all, when I say I was crying and crying and crying, it was so hot in the car. And then to have nowhere to go and it's burning up in the car, like, that is just, ugh. And so my boyfriend, he called up somebody, his mom, because they ended up getting another motel room. So we went to their motel room, we stayed there, and then we ended up going to their other one because they had 2. They stopped renting out the other one because they were getting them for free, and they went to the other one. So we went to the other one with them. It was a whole bunch of drama about food that didn't make sense. So we had to leave there. We went to go stay with this older dude in his motel room, and I felt so uncomfortable because it just, like, no, I just felt so uncomfortable. And I was getting bigger and pregnant. So I was looking for jobs every single day. Even though I was doing like shift smart and stuff, I was still looking for jobs every single day because I was tired of going through this every single day. And this happened. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was homeless for like a whole year and a half, because almost on the 2-year mark, I got my place. So I was just crying and stuff because it was just too much for me. I didn't like staying with the dude. I started looking for jobs. I ended up applying for Amazon work from home because they had it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I never did an Amazon work from home job. So, because I didn't have like good transportation then, so I did the Amazon work from home, and I got the job. So once I got that job, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So things started getting very, very hard at the dude's motel. I'm at motel room. He started saying that he was gonna give us time to leave, but you could tell that he didn't really want us there. And I'm not finna beg nobody to stay with them. And I didn't even know you like that. So I begged my mom, like I was begging her. Like, Mom, can I please come home? Can you please let me do this and do that? And she did. So I called my auntie them, and they came and got me, and I was crying and stuff because there was a lot going on. So they came and got me, and mind you, my boyfriend still stayed in that city or whatever, but I went home. And they came and got me, and I stayed at my mama's house, did what I had to do, was working and stuff. And then, like, I just didn't like the environment because all of us, me, my mom, my sister, we got into it one day, and she spoke on my unborn child. And I just didn't like that because you're supposed to be my mother and you're speaking on my child. And then my sister, she was coming to the bathroom, was like, oh, I hurt you on your baby, and all this other stuff. So I was like, yeah, this environment is not for me. So I left. And I went to my godmom's house, which is I feel like, in my opinion, was the best decision that I made. Like, even though it was kind of loud sometimes, I feel like it was the best decision that I made, because if I would have never went to my godmom's house, I would have never got to where I'm at now. And yeah, I just feel like it was a better environment, a better decision. I was happier, and I just felt more loved, in my opinion, being over there. So I went over there, was able to set my money up, found my apartment, kept telling everybody while I was pregnant, like, I'm not going to go live into a motel with my baby. Like, I do not want my baby born and living in a motel. I was buying my baby clothes and stuff, and I was like, man, I do not want to live in a motel with my baby. And that was my biggest problem. Well, my biggest issue, I was crying all the time, like, I just cannot live in a motel with my baby. Like, I just feel like that was bad, and I don't want my baby going through what I'm going through. So I did everything I had to do to get this apartment, and I got it, period. Do not play with me. Do not play with me at all. Do not play with me. Period. Y'all, this story is not fully exactly everything that happened, and the only reason why is because if I told y'all every single thing that happened, we would be talking about this for days. Days on days. Like fighting over fish plates, sleeping outside with worms crawling on you, to sleeping outside in the rain. Come on now. Sitting outside all day in the hot sun for hours on top of hours on top of hours, to the point where I feel like I was going to die. To the point where people were driving by. Oh, do y'all want us to go get y'all some McDonald's? Do y'all want us to get y'all something to drink? And us not being prideful, but not being like beggars, we said no. But I was starving. I didn't eat that whole day. My phone was dying. Didn't have no internet because my phone was on. I couldn't do anything. Like, y'all, when I tell y'all that was the worst time of my life, like when I think about it, I've been wanting to cry. That was the worst time of my life. Like, I would never, ever, ever want to go through that again. Like, no one should go through that, period. Like, at all. Like, I feel like no person should go through being homeless at all. Even if you're living in a motel, even if you're freaking living in an in-town suite, even if you're living in a hotel, I just feel like nobody should go through that as well. This was a little quick story time. I may do a story time point in depth about my homeless at 19 situation. And no, I'm not talking about, like, I'm doing another disclaimer, I'm not trying to talk about my mom in a bad light. We did bump heads a lot, and yeah, the situation did happen where I got put out and she didn't want me there, even when talking about my child, everything, like, a lot of people wouldn't forgive for talking about my child's situation, not even getting put out. But the thing about it is though, I just feel like as a mother, as me being her daughter and that's my mom, I lost my daddy in 2014. So that's the only parent I have. And if anything happens to her, I'm not going to have another parent living. Like, blood parent living. So I want to be able to have a good relationship throughout all the years, because I don't want to regret nothing in life. And to be honest, she's not a bad mother. We just have bad times, if that makes sense. Because she's a mother that will break her back for me, and I know that. It's just, I didn't know that then, and she didn't know that she would break her back for me then, apparently, because we were bumping heads. So no, I don't have no problem with my mom. I love my mama to death. I don't want nobody bashing her, because she's a very good mother and a very good grandmother. And my sister, I don't want nobody bashing her as well, because we bump heads like crazy. Like, we be enemies, and then we be besties, you know? So I don't want nobody bashing my sister as well, because we're on good terms, and I love my sister to death, period. Do not play about her. And yeah, everybody bump heads, everybody go through their things, everybody go through their situations, but you always gotta learn to forgive. And that's what I'm learning to do every single day. But thank y'all for tuning into this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. I'm not making you do it, but if you want to. And give me more video ideas. Like, yeah, I'm y'all mom, but what videos can I do? Like, come on now. Give me some more video ideas, and let's get this thing rolling. And if y'all didn't know, now y'all know my name is Mr. Marina. And thank y'all for tuning into my channel.
Bitches move on cause they know I got bands. They be saying I don't